everyone, it's JT. Welcome to our live stream event, Help Me Get Hired. So happy to have you all here. I am the founder of Work It Daily, and this is the YouTube channel that turns your frustration into career success. And we're really excited to start hosting a live weekly event completely focused on you, the job seeker. So we're going to get started today. A couple of housekeeping things. If you have any questions, you can post them in the chat. My partner in crime, Lindsay, is there fielding questions, and I'm going to be taking those in a minute. But to start, what I want to do is talk about a particular subject, and that is cover letters. So want to get down to the business of talking about why you need a cover letter today. Yes, you do. And some of the terrible mistakes that we're seeing people make so that you won't make those mistakes as well, okay? So, should we get started? I hope so. All right, here we go. So, one of the things that I think it's really important for people to know, and I'm just going to bring it up here so you can see it really quickly, is that we are writing on a regular basis over at Inc. Magazine, and we take a close look at what the hot topics are, and job search is definitely number one. But this particular article that we published last week for Inc. blew up. And it's because we went out and talked to recruiters and said, what are the worst things, the absolute things that like nails on a chalkboard completely make you cringe when you open a cover letter? And, you know, the overall common things are, you know, boring, outdated, but they really gave us some zingers. And we're going to talk about those today because, believe it or not, I think a lot of us don't realize we could be making mistakes or variations of these same mistakes, as bad as they may be. So I don't want you to do that, because I can tell you right now, a bad cover letter is going to get you in the trash can, and you're not going to get that job of your dreams. So we are going to take a look at these and make sure that you don't do them as well, all right? So let me bring that up there for you so we can take a look. All right. So the first thing we want to talk about, oh, that's just a little shout out about me. We'll just kind of keep on moving on from there. Hold on one second. Let me bring it up so that you can see it. And I'm almost there. I'm a one-woman show when it comes to this technology, folks, and we're new to live streaming, so you're going to have to bear with me as I work through this. And there it is. Sorry about that. Horrific cover letter mistakes that we see all the time. These are pretty bad. These are the top 5 I'm going to give you. So the first one we're going to talk about today is, this one was called Cooking Preferences and Lady Issues. So what we were up against here is that this recruiter, Ashley M., told us she got a cover letter attachment that was actually a list of the candidate's favorite recipes. And she also got one where in detail they talked about their lady issues and how they affected their work. Now, we're all giggling at that right now, right? We're all laughing and going, who the heck does something that stupid? But it does happen every single day. I promise you, recruiters tell us about it. And what I want you to think about, though, is the mistake that you could be making. I've seen people in a cover letter get too personal about, look, this is why I lost my last job, and this is why I've, you know, job hopped 10 times, and this is why I can only work these hours, and this is what happened in my life that is, you know, made my career bumpy. You might think giving that additional information or that desire to explain yourself in your cover letter, explain, you know, the setbacks that you've had, might be a good idea. It's not. It just isn't. And I want you to think about this for a second. You are a business of one. Marketing your services to an employer. You're a business. You want to close the deal. You want to get a customer. Customers don't buy damaged goods. Customers don't get excited about, you know, something that's broken unless they're going to get it for a deal. So are you going to sell yourself super cheap? No, you want to get the best price for you possible. Well, in order to do that, you've got to put the best foot forward. So TMI, too much information, and certainly negative stuff about yourself, not a good idea. Not a place for the cover letter. Candidly, not something that you want to discuss at all if you can help it, okay? So first mistake we see, horrific mistake, TMI, don't do it. You don't want to do it. All right, let's go back and look at that next mistake. So here's one, no fear of identity theft. Recruiter Jennifer F. said she got a candidate's picture, date of birth, social security number, marital status, and number of children from a candidate in a cover letter. Now, again, we might all go, well, gee, isn't that obvious? Especially here in the US where identity theft is a really big deal to us. We're very concerned about that. But in other countries, there's a difference. In other countries, for example, they put their picture on their resumes. We don't do that here. They actually do disclose personal information. That's illegal to us here. So what you want to think about is any personal information that isn't necessary, that they're not going to ask for until they make the job offer, you don't need to include. And I think most of us know that, but I mean, even things like street address, you don't have to have your street address on your cover letter or your resume anymore. You can just have your city and state for confidentiality reasons. So really make sure that you're up to date on the information that is appropriate or not appropriate to share. And certainly any personal information shouldn't be shared. In fact, just a note of caution here, if you ever get a job application or a recruiter who's saying, oh, I've got the perfect job for you, I just need your personal information, don't do it. Never send it by email. This is not stuff that you should be passing off. There's a lot of phishing scams out there, and I've seen people get severely, severely burned. Another one is bank account information. Don't give them that either. I've seen a big scam out there recently where they say they're going to send you computer equipment. We just need your banking routing number so that we can send you the money so you can go buy the equipment, and then they steal all your money. So please be careful with any personal information. When in doubt, seek a second opinion. All right? All right, let's go back to number 3. Big, horrific career mistake, cover letter mistake, selling yourself with a little too much passion. This one cracked me up. Recruiter Ian E said, one candidate wrote, I got done in the first line of his cover letter. And I asked Ian, what did you follow up with him? And he said, no, of course not. Anybody that's cocky, that overconfident, and thinks it's appropriate to swear in the cover letter, the first impression, is not somebody that I want to work with. So now, why all of you are saying, well, of course, JT, I wouldn't swear in a cover letter and I wouldn't be that presumptuous. Let me tell you what I do see a lot of that people make the mistake of. They're using an outdated cover letter format where they're trying to really market themselves. Have you ever seen a cover letter where it says, I'm an innovative self-starter and I've got 20 years of experience. I think you'll find my strengths are this and that. That's equally bad. The cover letter is not where you're supposed to brag about yourself. Today's cover letter is about you explaining how you get them, how you understand them, how you feel connected to the employer, how you feel connected to their customers or their mission or their products or services. It's helping them identify you as a member of their tribe. Bragging about yourself has no room in the cover letter. In fact, most of the time, recruiter will stop reading because 1, they don't buy it, and 2, that's all the stuff that's supposed to be in the resume. The accomplishments are in the resume. There's absolutely no need to put that inside the cover letter. So while this person was over the top, there's a really good chance you're being over the top right now too, with a really wordy, subjective, salesy cover letter where you're saying you're all that when you're really not. And recruiters don't like that. So be careful. Check that cover letter. If you're overselling yourself, you're doing the same thing as this guy, and it's not really a good thing. All right, moving on. Let's take a look at number 4. Thinking a little too much outside the box. So Michael H. said, creativity points to the person who sent their cover letter written in crayon, wanted to stand out, but it was a finance position. No kidding. All right. Now, once again, we're all thinking to ourselves, well, yes, JT, I know that I would not send my cover letter in crayon, but I do know that there are individuals out there that are claiming to be experts in job search that love to propose these really outlandish approaches to getting employers' attention. It's sort of these guerrilla marketing techniques. And I'm here to tell you they might work for 1 in 1,000 individuals. And anytime you see this thing that just seems really out of whack, you should be afraid. You don't want to do something too crazy, too outside the box, too cryptic, too creative. Again, we want to get their attention in all the right ways. And the way you get someone's attention, especially an employer, is talking about them. That is the way to get somebody's attention. That's their favorite subject. The company wants to talk about itself. So when you are giving them that kind of information, now you're making the right impression. Anything else is just a little too much. And, this goes beyond cover letters. I've heard crazy stories of people sending companies gifts, crazy gifts in order to get their attention. Again, these things work once in a blue moon, and then somebody writes about it and everybody thinks they should try it, and it's really just embarrassing. So please be careful. Nothing too outside the box, okay? All right, one more. I want to talk about one more, and then I'm going to take some questions from everybody. So number 5, most horrific thing we've seen on a cover letter, according to recruiters, is when a picture isn't worth 1,000 words. Kyle T., a recruiter, said, I once got a cover letter which was just a picture of a guy and a tiger. What else do I really need to know? Oh my goodness. So again, I think this is kind of in theme with the outside the box theory, where let me just send that visual impression. This is another one of those things, because of social media these days and how we're all using pictures to tell stories. I think people are thinking that now they can replace that with a picture can replace a cover letter. I'm here to tell you we're not there yet. Maybe someday, but we're just not there yet. Recruiters still want to get to know your personality and your aptitude. Are you going to fit into our culture? They already know your experience. That's what the resume is for. But the cover letter is to let your personality and your aptitude shine. In this case, this was over the top, not appropriate. What is appropriate is to tell a story that shows how you feel, again, connected to the company. You want to talk about them. And that's the key there. That's the right and appropriate thing to do. Now, for those of you that are saying, okay, JT, I get it. So my cover letter needs a little work. Yes, it probably does, but here's the good news. We do have a tutorial here on our YouTube channel. In fact, we have a whole playlist dedicated to cover letter and resume. So if you all have not checked out our free playlist on cover letters and resumes, you need to do so, because in that, I introduce you to the concept of a disruptive cover letter. And a disruptive cover letter is the perfect balance of getting them at hello, kind of surprising the recruiter without scaring them off. In fact, the right disruptive cover letter will draw you in. And I will tell you that our Work It Daily members, our subscribers to our private career coaching platform, will validate this for me. And if any of them are on here today, I know they'll chime in. Every single day inside our private platform, I have people who share their cover letters, and our coaches review the cover letter for them and tell them if it's good to go or not, right? We never want cover letters going out inside Work It Daily that aren't 100% good. And every day people are saying, guess what? That cover letter we worked on together at Work It Daily, it got me the interview. So I know disruptive cover letters work, and I know all our members will vouch for us there. But for those of you that don't know what a disruptive cover letter is, you need to learn, because that is what's going to get you interviews these days, especially if you can get that disruptive cover letter actually in a human's hands. That ATS is a big black hole. When you just apply online, a lot of times you're tossed and a human eye doesn't even see anything. But if you can get that really good disruptive cover letter in somebody's hands at that organization, you're going to capture their attention, and they're going to want to walk down the hallway and get that hiring manager or that recruiter to take a look at you and your credentials. And this is how people are putting themselves in the path of success each and every day when it comes to job search. And that's really what it's about, folks. You're marketing your business of one. You have to have the right techniques in order to put yourself in the path of the companies that you want to hire you. That's how you get hired by your dream company. All right. So there you have it. 5 horrific cover letter mistakes that I know none of you are going to make. Also, some more basic cover letter mistakes that maybe you didn't realize that you were potentially making. Once again, check out the free resource, cover letter tutorial, cover letter and resume playlist. Check it out here on YouTube. Now I'm going to go over and take some questions. Does that sound good? So I open up Help Me Get Hired. Any questions? I'd love to answer questions about cover letters, but I'll take any question that you have about job search today. Just put it in the chat. I'll do my best to answer it for you. Okay? All right, here we go. So first one is from, let's see. Well, first of all, let me just give shout outs to Maria and Amy and Tanya and Dodo and Starkorg. These are some pretty cool names. Thank you for chiming in today. Good to have you here. This is very good. One question I have here, first question is, could you show us visually a generic example of what you would consider a good cover letter? Normally I would pull something up here for you. but it's kind of hard because the cover letters that we work with inside the platform with our customers have personal information on it. So you really have to be careful about what you show out here on the public front. So I don't have a specific example for you, but I will tell you the video that we have on cover letters breaks down specific examples. And we did a live stream last month in partnership with Glassdoor. And on that, we showed some examples that you can reference as well. We showed bad cover letters and good cover letters. It's a little bit longer session than this, but if you're really interested in looking at the specifics, I would suggest that you take a look at that. Does that sound good? All right, so I'm sure we can even pop that in the chat for you, the link, so that you can watch that whole before and after cover letter module. Now, while I'm waiting for more questions to come in, I also want to do a Pimp Your Profile session today. So for those of you that don't know what Pimp Your Profile is, let me just bring it up here. Pimp Your Profile is when I will take a look at one lucky viewer's LinkedIn profile and tell them what they could do to improve upon it. So if you would like to do a Pimp Your Profile today, you have to take your public URL on LinkedIn. So go find the URL that you share with people, pop it here in the chat, and I will pick one to review today. Please keep in mind, we're going to be looking at your profile, so other people are going to be watching here on the live stream, so you need to be comfortable with that. But if you'd like me to go top to bottom through your profile and tell you how you can make it better, I will do that today for someone. So feel free to do that as well, my friends. While I'm waiting for that, I'm going to come back up on here and just say that for those of you that are in job search, what I'm going to challenge you on is that if you've been looking for work for a while and you're not getting any traction, meaning you're not getting any interviews, I'm really going to strongly encourage you to also take a look at the playlist we have here on the channel called Job Search, because in that we teach a proactive job search here. So we don't believe in applying online. We don't believe in the ATS because we know that 97% of the time, literally studies show 97% of the time, you're being tossed by the ATS. Only 3% of the people that apply online ever get a phone call. So if that's been your number one method for job search right now, I'm here to tell you that you've essentially not been job searching at all. You've been wasting your time. You need to know how to do a proactive job search. So if you're frustrated, check out the job search playlist. It's really going to help you start to understand what a proactive job search looks like and how you can be more strategic and get better results. Okay? Awesome. So question here from Tanya. Is there any information you should cover on both the resume and the cover letter? Oh, awesome question, Tanya. So the answer is no, they're separate. If you have duplicate information, that's annoying to a recruiter. So the resume is where your accomplishments are, your work history, your accomplishments, your skills, your strengths. That's where you're going to talk about you, the professional. The cover letter is where you're going to reveal your personality, your aptitude. So this is more where you're going to tell a story about how you feel connected to the industry, the company, the product, the service, like I said. And that story, you might start with, I remember the first time I used your product or service. Or I remember the first time I realized how important this particular task is to the success of a company, you know, and insert a task related to what you do for work. You're going to explain to them, you know, aspects that say, I get you. And that is strictly something that happens on the cover letter. So 2 different documents, totally different purposes, but together create a full picture of who you are as a professional. All right? Good question. Thank you, Tanya. Let's see. RC says, when uploading resumes, do I upload the cover letter on one sheet with the resume on the other? Yeah. So when possible, if they will let you upload 2 documents, then obviously you can keep the cover letter and the resume separate, right? If they're only allowing 1 document, one option is to put the 2 together. So cover letter first, resume second. But only if it's a really good disruptive cover letter. If your cover letter starts with "to whom it may concern" and says, I'm applying to the XYZ position, you might never get looked at. So make sure it's a disruptive cover letter when you're putting them together in one document, and then you can put them in there. Personally, I'd like to see you go around the ATS altogether. I'd like to see you find somebody at the company, reach out, get connected, and actually email to them the resume and the cover letter as separate documents. There's a much higher response rate when people do that, and all it takes is a little due diligence and research usually to find the email address of the recruiter or the hiring manager so you can send it to them directly. All right. What's your point of view with respect to ageism within the hiring process? And if so, how do you manage around this? Okay, so the name is Starkorg. What a great name on YouTube. Very cool. So ageism. I wrote about this week. And it's a hot topic these days. A lot of people feel that they're dealing with age discrimination. I'm going to tell you that it's not age discrimination, and I know that I'm going to get a little backlash from this, but the reality is it's experience discrimination. This is a true case of supply and demand that we have going on right now. So I want you to just think about these stats for a minute. There are 77 million baby boomers. These are people in their late 50s and 60s who want to stay working in the workforce. They want to stay working longer than was expected. There's only 46 million Gen Xers, my generation, so we're much smaller. And there's another 70 million plus millennials. Here's the thing though, millennials now make up half the workforce. And the oldest of the millennials are in their 30s, which means they have skills and experience under their belt. They're no longer newbies. And what that means is that employers are looking at them and saying they're the future. I can hire 2 of them for the price of 1 seasoned professional, 1 baby boomer. That is just the reality. So when you have supply and demand like this, you are seeing a lot of people in their 50s have a much harder time finding a job. And that's because they're up against this experience discrimination. You have a lot of experience, your salary's probably higher. Most people don't ever want to go back and pay. So think about that. If you say, I don't care, I just want to get my foot in the door, it's okay that I didn't make as much as I made before. That's all fine in theory, but there isn't a single person out there that loves to say, I'll make less money. And every recruiter knows that. So they know that if you take less money, you're deep down not going to be as happy as you were. And even if you are, when a better job comes along, you're going to leave them. That's their perception. So you're up against the law of supply and demand, not ageism. And let me just tell you that you can get mad at the millennials, but they're in trouble too. And let me explain why. We are a global economy. Globalization is happening at a rapid rate. I am working with companies every single day on their recruiting. And they're telling me that they're realizing now that they can go to Europe or other countries, third world countries, and hire PhDs and get 3 of them for the price of 1 here in the US. So as the geographic and economic boundaries drop, as we become more and more of a contract workforce or a free agent workforce, you're going to see a lot of this work go to other people in other countries. We all here, for those of you that live in the US, you technically get paid in the 1% compared to the world. So this is going to hit everyone. Experience discrimination and pricing discrimination is going to hit everybody. And we don't even realize it's happening yet. It's just starting to happen to the baby boomers, but it's going to happen to everyone. That's why here at Work It Daily, we teach you to be a business of one and to build your strategy. It's a lot more than just looking for work. If you are only looking for a job and thinking that you want job security, then you're not in the right place, because we don't believe that, because we know that's not truth. There's no such thing as a secure job. Every job is temporary. Any day things can change. That is our new reality. And the smart professionals are learning how to deal with that. They are building up their brands. They're having a really smart career strategy. They're working on their careers as much as they're working in their jobs to insulate themselves from any of these unexpected shifts in the marketplace. And unfortunately, we have a lot of people in their 50s and 60s that didn't do that because they didn't need to. They didn't know they needed to. And so now all of a sudden they're out in the workforce and they're having to relearn a lot, relearn how to look for work, relearn how to brand themselves, relearn how to overcome the objections that are being thrown up against them with respect to why they're not the right fit for the job. This is all stuff that you can learn. These are all skills that you can build, but you need the information and the resources and tools. And that's exactly why we created Work It Daily, because we know that you can do it. So that was a very long answer to your question, probably more than you wanted to know, but I'm not going to let anybody sit here and say, oh, it's ageism. You know, I can't compete, you know, that it's because of my age. It's not. It's experience discrimination, and there's a whole strategy that you need to build to deal with that. And if you want a great job and you want to work a long time in the future, you have no choice but to learn how to do these things. Really, really important these days. Okay? Whew. All right, so I'm going to get off my soapbox on that one, but as you can tell, I'm pretty passionate about it. Let's see. Maria says, I've got 2 interviews with my top 2 companies I want to work for. Following your advice, thank you. Awesome. But in both cases, there was non-specific position open. So let's see what they have to say. So they have me on hold. To me, that's hard to keep in touch with HR without being cheesy. Do you have any suggestions? Yeah. So folks, if you are a business of one and you have a dream customer, aka a dream employer, then you need skin in the game. You need to build a relationship with that employer. And a lot of times they can't hire you right this second. So you do what Maria did and you have these great intros, and they're going to have positions down the line, but not right this second. So what do? Any good salesperson stays in touch, but they do so by adding value. So you can't just keep going, just checking in, any news on the job. You don't want to do that. Instead, what you want to do is mark your calendar, and every 3 weeks, you want to find a really interesting article that shares, some aspect or discusses something that you talked about in the interview, and you want to ship it off to the people that you met. You don't send it as a group email. You send each one an email with a quick note. Hey, how's it going? Saw this article, thought of our conversation. I think you might enjoy it as much as I did. And you just send that to everybody. And every 3 weeks or so, you send off something new. What that does is show that you're thinking of them. It provides some value. You're not asking for anything in return, but it keeps you top of mind in their organization. And sometimes they're going to comment and say, oh, this was really great, or I like this or that. And eventually when that job comes available, they're going to feel like they know you and they're going to want to contact you. I see this all the time, but it only works for the patient. Maria, I know you're patient. I know you want this. And I have a lot of other Work It Daily members who are going after their dream companies and are in the same boat. Sometimes they're the finalist and they don't get the job. I have somebody right now trying to get into Microsoft. Several times a finalist didn't get it, but is doing exactly the technique that we just shared because she knows by staying top of mind and staying engaged and treating these people like peers that she will eventually get the job. I know she will. I've seen it happen hundreds and hundreds of times before. So Maria, stay in touch, add value, reach out every several weeks, and I promise you things will work out, okay? And then come back and tell me when they did, all right? Awesome. Yeah. Rupesh asks, what are the key points they want to see in a cover letter? Well, I'm going to encourage you to go check out our cover letter tutorials because I cover a lot more detail there, Rupesh. But for me, it is, why are you impressed with the company's products or services? What about our company do you admire? Not, hey, I think you're a great place to work and I think you've got awesome benefits and everyone says it's cool to work there. They know that already. They don't want to hear anything about that. They want to hear how you feel connected to the product or service that they sell. What's been your personal experience with it? How do you know that it's good, that it's better, faster, cheaper, smarter, the best? They want to know that you love the industry. How did you get into the industry? They want to know that you love the work that you do. Why do you love solving the problems that you solve and alleviating the pains that you alleviate in your role? What is it about your job that makes you want to get out of bed every day? These are the kinds of things, and you might not cover all those things. You might cover one or two of them, but these are the kinds of stories you tell in a cover letter so they get to know you and get excited about you as an applicant. Awesome. Okay. Wow. Where did the time go? So folks, I've got about 3 minutes left. And first question I'm going to ask is, what'd you think? Was this helpful? Second thing is, I didn't have anyone take me up on the Pimp My Profile, but maybe next time you will. If you're interested, we'll do a LinkedIn profile review next time. Really excited with all the questions you asked today. Please, I can't stress it enough. Don't make those cover letter mistakes. Take some time to learn the right way to write a cover letter. And of course, you all know this, that in addition to this free YouTube channel, which you can subscribe to, click the little bell. You'll always get notifications. We're always dropping new content several times a week, so you'll get an instant notification. I'll be doing another one of these live streams next Wednesday, so make sure you sign up for that as well. And of course, it wouldn't be fair if I didn't plug a little bit. If you would like to work with me and our team of career coaching experts at Work It Daily, if you'd like to have your resume reviewed by us, or your cover letter reviewed, or your LinkedIn profile reviewed, or your interview questions, join us at Work It Daily. In fact, I'm going to give you a code. It's YouTube10 in all caps, YouTube in all caps 10. And if you use that code, you can save $10 a month on a subscription with us. It's no setup fees. You can cancel at any time. But literally for the cost of a couple cups of coffee, you can work in a virtual private Slack channel, so virtual chatting, no live phone, just virtual chatting with us on all your career tools. We have thousands of members right now, and they're blowing it up. It's an incredible community. You'll meet these members in this private chat. You'll get your questions answered. You'll get completely motivated in your job search. You'll work with me and the team to make sure that everything that you're sending out there is top-notch, right, way to go, current. And you'll just see results. You'll feel momentum. You'll feel more confident in your job search. You'll get the results that you're looking for, and that's what we're here for. So if you're not getting where you need to be in your job search right now, come try us. You have got nothing to lose. It's a very low-cost investment, especially with the YouTube 10 code, which is going to save you that $10 a month. I'm telling you, we're changing the world. Work It Daily is changing the world one job seeker at a time. We're growing like crazy right now because it works. And we're so excited to be helping all of you. But even if you're not ready yet, that's okay. You can come back and hang out with me in the live chat next week. You can watch our videos, get engaged with our content that way. We still love you. We still want you as part of the family, but I do really want you to join us at Work It Daily sometime when you're ready, okay? All right, everyone. Thank you so much for stopping by. Have a good rest of the week. Be really focused in your job search. And remember what we always tell you here at Work It Daily. If you want to win, you have to work it daily, okay? Don't forget it. All right, thanks everyone. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.